Canes fans. Canes fan, what's up? Look at that. That's an ugly win. Guys, there's only one. I'm in my bedroom chilling, man. I just got off work not too long ago. You know, watching the game. I was really watching the game on my phone because I got this YouTube TV on my phone. And it's convenient because, you know, I'll be in the office at work, man. I just, you know, on the weekends, it's dead. You know what I mean? And I'm listening to this game, guys. You realize by the third quarter, by the middle of the third quarter, the end of the third quarter, we were 1 for 9 on third downs against Central Michigan. Okay? Bruh. Bubba Baxa missed another PAT against Central Michigan. We dropped 17 points at home and won by 5 points against Central Michigan. You guys remember in the last video, Canes fan, when I said after this game, this was supposed to be a tune-up game, and then they go into the gauntlet against ACC opponents? Dude, Pittsburgh just pulled off the upset against UCF, which I'm so happy they did that, because now maybe at least for a couple of weeks the UCF fan base is gonna be quiet and they're gonna stop trolling all over Twitter. But man, dude, we're a bad football team, man. We're not good. We're not good. And I keep trying to put a positive on it, like this is a rebuilding year. New coach, freshman quarterback, freshman at the tackle positions, first year starter at center. But our defense wasn't even all that dominant. I mean, we held them to 12 points, but that's Central Michigan. You're supposed to hold them to 12 points. You know what I mean? We got some turnovers, but kept shooting ourselves in the foot at the end of the game when we were doing that goal line stance. Kept giving them second chances with dumb penalties. Even though that penalty against Scott Patchen, that personal foul against Scott Patchen for hitting the lineman, that was garbage. That was a garbage call. And Miami's always going to get calls like that from the referees. That's why Miami has to be good enough to overcome that. But I'm telling you right now, man, just they look bad. They look ugly tonight. That offensive line, they are not ready, man. Something's got to be done. Something has got to be done about those offensive tackles, man. Them guys, I'm going to tell you, during the second quarter, I was legit worried that Jaron Williams was going to get hurt for the season. He was getting blown up so much by Central Michigan, man. We're not talking about Virginia Tech D-line. We're not talking about Clemson D-line. We're not even talking about Florida State's D-line, which they got some talented kids. They're just in Florida State. They're just poorly coached. Central Michigan, man, and the lack of discipline. You know, it doesn't matter if it's a new coaching staff. There's just some fundamental things, man, like the stupid penalties and stuff that, you know, good coaches can overcome. I'm frustrated because, like I said in my last video, we haven't really been making really any legit noise since 2004, 2005. And the way we look tonight, we look like the worst team in the Coastal. We might be better than Georgia Tech, maybe. But when I look at the schedule and look at the teams we have to play, I mean, it's one thing to lose a close game to Florida. It's even another thing to lose a close game to North Carolina, because they seem to be able to sneak one in on us, and we haven't exactly dominated North Carolina over the past 7 years. But it's another thing to barely beat Central Michigan at home. That's a teller, man. I hope it's a fluke, but it's weird that you go and you smoke Bethune-Cookman by over 60 points, and then the next week you come back and it's just like the offensive line just kept getting blown up, man. And we're you know, 4 games into the season. We're almost to the halfway point. Okay? If you haven't tweaked and tuned it by now, it's not going to get any better with the offensive line. You mean to tell me that the offensive line, who do we play next week? I think we play Pittsburgh, don't we? Do we play Pittsburgh or do we play Virginia? Either way, we play an ACC opponent next week. You think that's going to miraculously get better by next week? Man, they need to do something, man. Something's got to happen. Bench the kids and put the upperclassmen offensive line on the line first. Let them start. Or your who you going to sacrifice? A left tackle or your quarterback? You know what I mean? Something's got to be done. The kids aren't ready to start, man. They might look good in practice, but bench them. You got to try something different. Both of those tackles, the left and right tackle, they need Zion. He's not ready. Needs to get benched. Okay? Just not ready. The kid's not ready. Frustrated, man. And Bubba Baxter, come on, man. Really? Manny, you didn't learn your lesson from... You ever learned your lesson? It hasn't sunk in for the past 3 games? The kid's performance? Are you not paying attention to the tape? Are you not staying on top of your special teams coach? You're supposed to stay on top of your special teams coach, man. Is that not sinking in? That this kid is garbage when you're missing kicks against the likes of Bethune-Cookman and Central Michigan Chippewas? And never respected Jim McElwain because he got caught a bad rap at Florida, and he's over here with these Central Michigan. He's working with what he's got, not much, and he's getting them up and prepared because they could have beat us. They could have beat us. When you lose to a team when you lose to a team by 5 points in an away game, you could have beat them. They hung with us the whole game. I mean, it's like, this makes me think, man, maybe we should have just let Mark Richt ride out his contract. And then after his contract retired, he would have modernized the program, at least gave us 7 to 9, 10 wins a season. And he gave us the indoor practice facility, let him ride out the program and do his thing. And then and let him retire when he was ready to retire, instead of pressuring him, instead of being this prick fan base. And let him and bring in somebody. I don't know, man. I don't know, because the way it looks right now, it's not working with Manny. You know what I'm saying? And I know this is first year, new coach, new scheme, freshman and all that stuff, but still, that's not supposed to happen against Central Michigan, man. Well, I don't know, guys. What do you think? Am I overreacting? Am I overreacting? Because, bruh, yeah, the turnover chain came out, but really the only positive that I can pull from this game is that we won. And a win is a win, but if it's an indicator of how things are going to go once we get into the real schedule, which is ACC championship game, Charlotte, for real? Nah. Not when you can't even protect your quarterback against Central Michigan. He shouldn't have even been touched. Poor coaching. Because we know what it was. Part of it was a slow start because those kids didn't get up because they weren't motivated. They weren't properly motivated to play this team. They took this team for granted. Okay? And they were out there like they didn't even care. Wow. We're not good. We're not good. And it goes to my point from an earlier video question that I asked. Are we irrelevant? Is Miami football irrelevant? Is it an irrelevant product? Is Miami football irrelevant? I don't know. I don't know, guys. Tell me what you think. Because, wow, man. Wow. Hey. If you've been a Kings fan a day or 30 years, man, you get love from my way, but you gotta, I don't know, man, give me your opinion. If this doesn't frustrate you, I don't know, man. I'm gonna tell you right now, as a Miami sports, I'm generally a Miami sports fan across the board. Hurricanes, Dolphins, Heat, Marlins. I even pay attention to the Panthers now and again. I look in on the Panthers to see, the highlights and stuff and see what their record is. And I'm not really a hockey fan. But I'm telling you right now, man, it's looking like, I understand why the Dolphins are kind of doing what they're doing, because they got a bunch of first round draft picks next year. And they're just trying to they all in. You know what I mean? They just placing hedging all their bets. But the tank. But it's kind of looking like the only hope, the only glimmer of hope for Miami sports this season is going to be Jimmy Butler and the Heat. And maybe, Jimmy Butler and the Miami Heat, you know what I mean? Maybe, this new era Heat team can take us into the first, second round of the playoffs. And we can get the Miami Heat back to being the perennial playoff team that they've pretty much been since 1997. You know what I'm saying? And we can get this team back to competing in the playoffs and maybe over the next couple of seasons add a couple of pieces to Jimmy and even compete for Eastern Conference Finals and Finals. You know what I mean? Because that's looking like it's really the only glimmer of hope for Miami sports this year. The Marlins are the third worst team in baseball. Uh, the Dolphins are tanking, and they might have a historically bad season, which is saying a lot. Um, and the Miami Hurricanes with Manny Diaz, they're starting to look like what the NCAA wants them to look like, an irrelevant football product. So I don't know. I love my Canes, man. This can't be this can't be how it ends. You know what I mean? This can't be how it. You know what I mean? It just. I hope that this is just that we're rebuilding, and then by the end of the season, going into next season, we're firing on all cylinders, and we become a perennial ACC championship team. That's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping this isn't snake oil. Okay. All right, guys. Peace.